for everybody to join in on us today. Join me up in the chat if you get a chance. Give me a number one. We got Joaquin Galarza, Rico, J.E. Rome, Alt Shift, Leave It to Sievers, Mark, Blank Images, Shenny Fit, Perpetual Analysis, Harrison, Andrew, Omari. Man, we got blowing up. Number one in what? Number one in everything, man. We're number one in striving. For me personally, what am I number one? I was the first person to bring Mace Fitness to the West. I was the first person in the modern age to bring Catch As Catch Can to the West. I was the first person to bring Fujiwara for seminars, the first to bring Billy Robinson for seminars. I was the first to go to college. I was number one. I was number one in a number of places. Where are you, right? And the gimmick is from no one to number one. What's up, Juliana? What's up, Muhammad, Sahid, J.E. Rome? I won a match. Dude, way to go, buddy. Congratulations. How'd you win? Got my dad even joined on. That's awesome. What's up, Luis? What's up, Big Gonzalez? Guys, hit me up in the chat if you want to talk. I am happy to discuss. Blank Images, 8 billion people. 50K Melkor. You ever wrestle anyone famous? Well, probably the most famous match I ever had. I never made it very big. I did have WWE tryouts, pro wrestling we're talking about now, and then I'll tell you about competitive wrestling. Probably Vampiro in the Toronto Sky Dome 2001. The last show for the Man's Warped Tour of 2001 in Toronto. That's probably the most famous pro wrestler. I was on shows with Roddy Piper, but these were all indie shows. Most famous person I ever actually wrestled, I don't know, maybe Gokor kicked my ass. This was 2004. This was before I hooked up with Billy Robinson. He was amazing. I don't know. I hope that helps answer your question. Leave it to Sievers. Bring the old school to the new school, aka Mace and Catch. And dude, that's really what I'm talking about today. Timeless wisdom meets modern hustle, right? Like I want to talk about this idea of like, what can we learn from the past and make relevant today? That is something that I am like really good at. If you want to say something where I'm number one, revive and thrive, right? Like unleashing ancient wisdom in today's world. I think that is something where undoubtedly I've had a tremendous effect. So leave it to Sievers. I appreciate that. Ahmed, hi. Hello. Jake JPEG 7, shout me out. I got you, dude. Just did. What's up, Jake? Got all 140,000 people on Instagram, got the social medias. I'm broadcasting right now to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that. Alt Shift J, any place that teaches wrestling in Las Vegas. So do you see, because you're on Instagram, on the Scientific Wrestling Instagram, check out Pancration Philosopher. He is a Scientific Wrestling affiliate. He contributes to the Scientific Wrestling Instagram page quite often. You can't miss him. Just scroll down my feed and you'll see Pancration Philosopher. He is in Vegas and he is at a gym. So you might want to check him out. He might be able to hook you up with some people out there in Vegas. So let's dive in to this idea of ancient worlds that are providing strategies that are still relevant today. This is something that I've been fascinated with. So for example, the mace. The mace goes back ancient Persia, ancient India. You can go check out my Instagram at Mace Movement. And I post all kinds of practitioners that we've been able to spur in the modern age. It was dead before. I mean, just gonna be real. If I was hit by a bus before I released the Mace Bell and all that programming and the certifications and the instructionals and the actual Mace Bell that was made by Torque Athletic back in the day, it would not be happening like it is today. It would still be this very small provincial thing in India, no production maces. I'm confident of that, but it's huge now, right? Leave it to Sievers. I'm looking to open a gym that highlights swing style training and minimalistic approach to build a body that has longevity. Dude, rock and roll. I know some people that can help you. If you hit me in the DMs, get some people out there. And I'm always happy to help on a business perspective, see if I can't help you blow up on the marketing side. But, let's talk about, so the mace was one thing. Basically, it was a wooden handle affixed to a heavy rock. Maybe it was made with concrete molded, or maybe it was just a rock with rope and twine, and swung. And it was an exercise for predominantly wrestlers. So I decided to take that and update it. I created new exercises, gave it new names because people wouldn't be able to understand either Sanskrit or however it was being communicated. Estebledo. Who was that old man on your page that said affiliate today? Wade Chalice, Guinness record holder for the most wins and pins in all of wrestling, most wins over international champions, most wins over national champions, 5 combat sport All-American, freestyle, folk style, Greco-Roman, judo, and sambo. Bald guy. Yeah, arguably the greatest wrestler and definitely the greatest pinner. We've got great endorsements. Don't pay for them. Wade Chalice, Frank the Legend Shamrock, Billy Robinson, scientificwrestler.com. Go check it out. We will help you and your gym. You get tons of training, you get sales and marketing support, you get resale rights, you get a whole system, because you would be joining us on our mission and our belief that wrestling is the greatest form of personal development known to man. And then we mix that with in my opinion, the second best form of personal development known to man, and that's entrepreneurship. So love to have you involved, love to have you on the team and on the mission to improve lives. Now, let's talk briefly, about the mace bell. I came to it through wrestling. I came to it through my mentor, the god of wrestling, as he's called in Japan, Karl Gotch. Real name, Karl Stas. He was an Olympian. He was a freak for physical conditioning. I still practice what he taught me to this day. I get down and I do 50 Hindu push-ups. I do a minimum of 100 squats, and I swing the mace, and I do bridging. Radically changed my life, made me a better human being. And I thought, let's bring this to the masses. And I couldn't figure it out. So I went to at the time, 2006, the largest kettlebell manufacturer at the time. Their name was Torque Athletic. And I approached them with my design and my idea for the mace bell. And they did it, man. The rest is history, right? So the same goes for Catch as Catch Can Wrestling. And this also has to go to Karl as well. Fair? So, Karl, arguably the greatest impact for Catch as Catch Can Wrestling in the 20th century. There were other greats who I've been fortunate to know, men like Billy Robinson, of course, who was my coach for 7 years. I apprenticed with him. There's also Gene LaBelle, Dick Cardinal, Fujiwara, all these other great guys. This is an old sport. 1870s was when it was really kind of, generally speaking, formalized. It's been around prior to that. But this idea of ground wrestling with submissions and pins. And from it, this is the irony of Catch as Catch Can. This is, to me, the funniest thing. And what my project with Scientific Wrestling is. I believe that Catch as Catch Can, like my mentor and coach, Billy Robinson, is the greatest combat sport martial art in the history of the world. And the reason why Billy gave me the fantastic compliment that it'll be because of my efforts that Catch as Catch Can will come back. I have to say, I can't do it alone. And there's been a lot of people who have taken inspiration. I'd rather say that than stealing my ideas. Taken inspiration and run with it. And it's great. And I welcome it, because if I get wealthy or something in the process, I'm not going to turn it down. But that's not the point of it. It's a personal thing that I want this sport to get the recognition it deserves as the greatest, most impactful combat sport, martial art, the history has ever seen. And I can quantify that. I can quantify that simply because from catch as catch can specifically. Now, wrestling in general, for sure, because wrestling is broad. Not only does it encompass catch as catch can, it encompasses Greco-Roman, it encompasses sumo. Like you could throw almost all grappling into this idea of wrestling, including jiu-jitsu as a wrestling sport. It's the oldest, most impactful sport. But of all of those, it is catch as catch can that is the biggest. And the reason is because if we were to count every fan, athlete, coach, and business person involved with the derivatives of catch as catch can, including catch as catch can, it dwarfs arguably almost every other sport, including soccer. So we can look at counting every single fan, athlete, coach, and business person involved with professional wrestling, which is directly a descendant of catch as catch can. We can look at every athlete, coach, promoter involved with Olympic wrestling, direct descendant. Scholastic wrestling in the United States, folk style. We can also look at MMA. I hate to break it to you, but we've been having mixed matches through catch as catch can promoters forever. And Pancras, which came through the influence of Karl Gotch, held their first matches before even the UFC. So, huge impact, massive impact. And nobody recognized it. And it was absolutely baffling to me that nobody in the world seemed to see what I saw. And it was this impact. And maybe it's my combination, or strange combination of being a historian, a researcher, a coach, and a practitioner. I'm not a practitioner because of my carotid dissection anymore, but I'm very passionate about it nonetheless. And I saw this. And so I decided that, given the popularity of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Ultimate Fighting, that the world needed to know the truth about catch as catch can wrestling. So I hope that helps you guys understand that. And so I did. I updated it. Nobody was doing competitions. Nobody. There was not, because I was looking back when I was active. I ended up, the doctor said I had my carotid dissection in 2008. I was looking and nobody was doing competitions. So I started in 2007. Unfortunately, God nerfed me, but it is what it is. So Stoic Extreme, hey man, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I don't know what nobody means there, buddy, but happy to see you nonetheless. So anyway, I held the first competitions in 2007. I asked Carl, who was mentoring me at the time, to help me craft, this was probably 2005, 2006, to craft a rule set. And so we did. We crafted a fantastic rule set, started competing under it. And here now we have multiple people taking up this effort to get it going. Okay. Taking the old, thrive and revive and thrive, as they say. And some people call it a catch as catch can revival. I don't like to think of it that way. I like to think of it more as a revolution, because a revolution is a 360-degree turn back to the beginning, back to the fundamental, which is catch as catch can, the best one. Now, along the lines with the mace and with catch as catch can, I had to learn business. I have a master's degree in financial mathematics. I was happy making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year working for investment banks and mortgage banks. But I got bit not only by the wrestling bug and the fitness bug, but I also got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. And so I wanted to live by my wits. And so again, this idea of creating a business is an ancient idea, and providing this to the market. So now it doesn't just stop, there's all kinds of different places to do this. Another field in which I find old ideas being super relevant in the modern age, I ended up becoming a Freemason, so all the conspiratorial of you might enjoy that, but you may not enjoy having a debate with me, because I've done my research and my homework on it, unlike most people. And that's not to say, in fact, I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories, but I'm more of a fan of conspiracy facts, and there's plenty of them to go out there. So no sense spewing fake news. But like the ideas of Freemasonry and of classical liberalism, or what is today known as libertarianism, which is now considered right wing. Classical liberalism is now a right wing philosophy, but there's so much to be learned, right? In that, including, classical liberalism. These are the guys like Adam Smith and the Scottish Enlightenment that really pushed the ideas from Freemasonry into free markets, right? And entrepreneurship. So, I think it's important, and I do got to jump because I've got another podcast that I'm going to be a guest on. It's important for us to do data mining, to look at these things in the past critically and start figuring out, like, are there nuggets in here that we can take forward? So I look at right now, last year, I got 8 different professional certifications, some from great schools like Darden and Vanderbilt. And long story short, in AI. But what does AI do? These large language models, I should be more specific, generative AI, not AI to like drive cars and whatnot, but they go and they look and they mine data and can create new and better systems or books or whatnot. So anyway, guys, I want you to really understand that there is so much history, so much data out there to be mined. Yeah, you could scroll through TikToks and scroll through Reels and laugh, and that's great. I think there's maybe a better use of your time, and that might be looking into the past at the lessons learned and how can we apply them today? What can we use from the past to revive and help us thrive today? Well, guys, I'm going to jump here. I see one question. Stellar Steven, what's up, brother? Emerald Tablet. Yes, sir. The Emerald Tablet, interesting. Yeah, a lot of the magical literature I find absolutely fascinating. That's what drew me into Freemasonry, was a lot of the magical thinking, some of the allegories and the knowledge of these the invisible college, as it's called. Let's see, Stellar Steven, what's your sprawl alternative? One knee down. Okay, so why are you sprawling? Typically, if I may, the main sprawl, the thing where I like a sprawl is if somebody has a strong double leg. Now, if somebody has a strong double leg, depending where they're coming in at, you don't have to sprawl. You could take them over you. You could simply sit underneath them and flip them over. There's all kinds of alternatives. You could, if somebody comes into you, instead of sprawling, you could do a lateral. It depends at the level at which they're shooting. If it's a super low double, you might have a little more difficulty, but you can spin or pivot out of some of those as well. These questions are usually better handled. I hope to see you, Stellar Steven, at the camps that we got coming up. Head over to coachingcatch.com. We've got a lot of fantastic opportunities for you guys to train. And yeah, man, you've got to start looking at what is it that you could potentially revive and thrive. What does that look like for you? Stellar Steven, countering doubles. Okay, yeah, so, and thanks, he says. Thank you, Stellar Steven. Leave it to Sievers. For viewers and myself, besides yourself, who's carrying the torch in the USA Catch as Catch Can Wise? I appreciate what Josh Barnett is doing. Are you involved with that? So, Josh is really great. He is certainly one of Scientific Wrestling's strongest allies. But, the great thing about Josh is that he really, if he sees merit in what you're doing, he's going to try to help. So here's the long and short of what I think is going on that's great. I do like what's going on in Wigan, in particular. The training, I'm very biased. I got trained by Carl Gotch, Billy Robinson, and Wade Chalice. So they're great, and you should train with them if you get the opportunity. But I train with the very, very, very best. So for me, not applicable. But what I do like what they're doing is with the World Championships. The production values are fantastic. I do like that they've started to change their vision and invite athletes outside of their school. They have some really fantastic guys, like Ian Jones is just a real stud and a great human being. I like what's happening there. I do like what Miyato is doing. He is very keeps a high fidelity to what Billy Robinson taught him. We do that, but we integrate Carl, we integrate Wade Schaus, we integrate Frank Shamrock. We're more not about, I don't want to say this in a dismissive way, LARPing as much, like historical preservation and reenactment. We do that through documentation of video. That's why I have so much footage with Billy, for example, or Carl or Wade. But we're really, scientific wrestling is interested is in application, and particularly keeping scientific wrestling or catch as catch can relevant. And where it's relevant the most today is in both MMA and professional wrestling. And so that's where we specialize, is maintaining that relevancy. Stellar Steven, Josh visited an affiliate of my gym. I'll have to hear the Bourbon podcast when that goes out. Yeah, Josh is doing great stuff. I'm wary of some of the other groups. I am happy that they're doing it. A lot of them they're very small-minded, very petty. They don't have high quality levels. So again, I don't mean to come off critical or dismissive, and I'm glad that they're involved and that they're doing what they're doing sincerely. It's just, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you to go with the very best that you can. And I think in an unbiased way, I could say that that's us. Wade Schaus, now I'm adding King Mo, Pat Miletich, who has a strong wrestling base. I consider folk style wrestling to be part of Catch as Catch Can, a subset of Catch as Catch Can. So that really increases the scope, increases the canon of technique, increases the rule set. I consider scholastic wrestling and Olympic freestyle wrestling to be parts of Catch as Catch Can. In fact, closer than even no-gi. No-gi is very close as well. All right, guys, I do got to jump. I got this podcast in 1 minute. I appreciate you. If you guys need anything, always DM me. Hit me up on the website. You can go to scientificwrestling.com and find the contact info there. You can also find it at no1.llc. Yes, .llc, not .com, .llc. Appreciate the hell out of you. Hope you have a killer week. Remember, what can you find from the past that you can revive to help people thrive, including yourself? Take care.